This is everything you need to know to be successful on YouTube in 2025. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions, and I've been making YouTube videos since 2008. And when I really started taking YouTube seriously, about 10 years ago, I started attending this conference called VidCon. It's the world's biggest conference for online video. It happens every June in Anaheim, California, and every year after that conference, I do a video sharing what I've learned, my collected wisdoms about what it takes to be successful on this platform. I've got 16 different tips to make awesome YouTube videos and be a winning YouTuber, whether you're new to the platform, whether you've been on the platform for a while, or whether you're just curious what it takes to make a video that people actually want to watch. This video is for you. And so to dive into the first thing you need to do to be a winning YouTuber in 2025 is you actually need to pick up the camera, you need to press record, you need to turn it someplace, you need to record it, you need to upload it to YouTube, and then you need to press the publish button. It's so interesting. When I was at VidCon, I met lots of fellow explorers and people in the creator track that would wear a badge that says creator because they're going to the panels about how to make better videos. I'd ask every one of them, like, what are you creating? And many of them just still getting started. They're probably some of the same people I talked to a year or two ago that are still getting started. And I would say if you're there, if you were on the fence about getting started, just get started. Just record it, just publish it. And you might think, well, you know what? My videos are going to be bad. You know what? They're going to be bad. Your first 100 videos, they're going to be bad. But the great part about making bad videos when you start is nobody is watching. So it's all good. Everybody's got to start with something bad. If you look back on my videos in 2008, 1,800 videos ago, they are not as good as the ones that we make here today. So don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. Look at Mr. Beast. His first videos are still on his channel, and they weren't very good either. A far cry of what he makes today. All right, the second thing you need to do to be a successful YouTuber is to realize that being successful on YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. Something that I found in common for most of the YouTubers that were on stage at VidCon when asked how long they've been doing it, or just when mentioning it, most people on stage at VidCon talking about their great success, their overnight success, has been 10 years overnight. Like most of the people that you see that have like 1 million plus subscribers have all been at it for 10 years or more. And sure, there's a few here and there that really break out and have some crazy success. There's a few here and there that break out and win the lottery too. But for the most part, it's gonna take a while. And so if you are trying to dive into the YouTube game and you haven't started a channel yet, then I think one of the most important things is choosing a topic that you actually like. And choosing a topic that you can actually make more than 10 videos. You know, it's a challenge with many educational channels is they are like, oh, there's a topic I'm really passionate about teaching on, whether it's how to make better spreadsheets or how to garden better, except eventually they run out of content and they just feel like they have nothing left to teach. And so think about something that you can make 100 videos on. Think about a topic you can make 1,800 videos on, because if you actually want to be successful, it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. Most people that I talk to that like quit, you know, they go at it for like 6 months, they try to make a video a week, a video a month, and they don't take off, and then they give up. But in order to not give up and to keep going, you have to make it easy to make videos. And so what does it mean to make it easy? I mean, it's not like a cakewalk. It's not like watching TV or watching grass grow or something like that. Like there's certainly some work into making a video, but there's a whole workflow for making a video, which starts with making it easy to shoot, making it easy to record. So, you know, having gear that's simple, having gear that's charged, having gear that's nearby that you understand, that isn't too complicated. Shooting your video in a way that makes it easy to edit. You know, one of the reasons that I like doing these live streams is I don't have to edit them. They're great. When I'm done with the hour, the video is available as an archive for people to watch, and it's available for you to watch right now for those of you who are watching the live stream. Also, another reason that I've added the walking tours to the channel is because they don't require that much editing. And I try to record them in as few clips as possible, because the less clips, the just less editing we have to do afterwards. But, you know, that's not to say that all videos can have no editing. Not all videos can be live streams. Not all videos can have walking tours. And the big videos that we make on this channel, things like our Singapore travel guide or our Big Island travel guide that's coming out, those videos probably take 40 hours to edit. And so thinking about recording it and outlining in a way that then once you get all that footage, it's easy to put it all together. Another question I get from people is people who say, Chrissy, I want to get started and I've been on all these trips and I have all this footage that I've recorded. And I just don't know what to do with it. I just have all these clips. What am I going to do with it? And of course I'm like, oh, well, if all you have is just a bunch of clips that you didn't actually think about what you were going to make, really hard to make a video afterwards. It's like much easier to make a video when you thought about what you were going to record and what you were going to say. So then those are the things that you record, and then when you're done, it's easy. You know, there's some people who have said, you know, Chris, you can never have too much B-roll. You can never have too much scenic footage. To which I say, you absolutely can. You can have too much B-roll because you got to sift through it and decide to use what you want to use. So I prefer to be sparing with my B-roll and just record shots of things I'm going to use. If I don't think I'm going to use it in the video, then it doesn't get recorded. Now, I think another way to make things easier to shoot is to batch produce things. And so, you know, it takes time to get your camera out, to get the microphone on, to put it in a tripod, to go someplace to shoot. And so thinking about while you're there and you've got all your gear out, can you shoot more than one video? Can you shoot more than one video in that place? This is why you often see when we go to some place like Tokyo, we don't just make one video about Tokyo. While we're in Tokyo, we'll make everything you need to know before you go to Tokyo. We'll make some of the best things to eat in Tokyo. We'll make some hotel reviews. Like, we'll make a bunch of things while we're there and we've got our gear. And even the same thing if I go out in the world and I'm going to go shoot like a luggage review, for example. I might take a few different suitcases and shoot a few different luggage reviews by the time I've driven to a spot and got a spot and it's interesting. Or I might record, say at the San Diego County Fair, I might record a 1-hour walking tour, but while I'm there, I'll also record a 60-second short because I'm already here. I've already got my gear. And so this step of recording this one extra thing isn't that hard. Now, you don't want to batch record too much, particularly when you're getting started, because you want to learn from feedback. You don't want to find out that you recorded 10 videos and the audio is all horrible or things like that, right? So when you're getting started, smaller batches, but as you get to do this more and you've figured out a system that works, then you can make bigger batches. Now, this notion of burnout, burnout is particularly prevalent in the streamer community. People who do things like this live stream here, but I wouldn't really call myself a streamer because I do a 1 hour a week live stream. But for people who stream hours and hours a day, particularly for people who are like on Twitch. But there's Twitch people that have come over to YouTube to be like gamers and things like that. People watch when they're live and people don't watch a lot of those videos when they're not live. And so for those people to get views, they got to be live, which means they're live streaming 6-8 hours a day. And it's really easy to get burned out from that when you're doing that seven days a week. That is pretty rough. The third thing you need to do to be successful on YouTube is you need to make videos that people actually want to watch. Okay, that's probably easier said than done. And it's kind of different thinking about videos people want to watch depending upon whether you're targeting educational videos or entertainment videos. And roughly, I would say you can look at most videos on YouTube and divide it in one of those two categories. Is this entertainment or is this education? And entertainment can be pretty broad. That can be sketch comedy, that can be music videos, that can be Mr. Beast, but that's the kind of thing that when you just kind of want to, when you want to relax, you put that on. And education is something like, you want to learn how to tie a tie, you want to learn how to barbecue a steak, you want to learn some of the best places to go when you go to Singapore. Now I'll say certainly some of the things I do on this channel straddle the line between education and entertainment. I call it edutainment here. That's why I make travel videos that are fun, informative, and entertaining. But it's not just making things that entertain and educate people, but it's also making them about topics that people are actually interested in watching. Trends, the zeitgeist, what's interesting right now. This is where when I'm going to like San Diego Comic-Con, I know that's a big trend. Lots of people are interested in San Diego Comic-Con, and so it's a thing I make a video on. If I made a video on some really obscure like knitting convention, there's probably a lot less people that would watch that than the people who want to watch the San Diego Comic-Con exhibit hall tour. But you know, on YouTube, there you can think about like topics that people are interested in. There's broader topics. Travel is a broad topic. Finance is a broad topic. And it's not to say that if you're really into a particular history of a small African tribe that people won't watch that, but less people would watch that. And so you just have to be comfortable with you're not going to have the same views that Mr. Beast is going to have because there's just a smaller pool of people that are interested in watching that particular topic. Now, sometimes things that people do to like get ideas for what to make YouTube videos on is they go and look at other videos that people have made, and they go and look and they see what's doing well, and let me just do that. And the problem with that is that things that do well have probably also been done over and over again. And so the things that I find that often do the best are things that haven't been done yet. Things that are new ideas or things that are spins on existing ideas. You know, I tend to look at, when I look at destinations and places to travel and prioritizing what kind of guides do I make, is I try to look at stuff that hasn't been done yet. You know, when I was looking at like researching places to go, and I looked at Guam because I watched a Wendover Productions video on Guam, and his Wendover Productions video did pretty well. And then when I looked at the travel videos for Guam, there was not a single good comprehensive travel guide video on Guam. And although Guam isn't a place that many people go, it is a place that people go. And so Yellow Productions producing even a average travel guide on Guam gets a lot of views because it's better than anything else that's out there. And so, you know, dialing in this thing about like, what are the topics? What do people want to watch? Take some time to learn. Tens, hundreds, maybe even thousands of videos, depending upon how you're doing it. But one of the things I often like to tell people is that I think being on YouTube is not about you. It's not about what you want. It's not about showing off yourself. It's about delivering value to the viewers, whether that's education, whether that's entertainment, and thinking about how you can create something to do that, which is why when I do these live streams, I always come with a outline of the things I'm going to talk about so that when you come here, you will know that you're going to get value, and you're not just going to get somebody who's sitting in front of a camera blubbering around trying to figure out whether the microphone's working or the lights are working. And yep, you ever been on those live streams? The ones where you're like, I can't be here for more than a couple minutes because this is, when are we going to start? When are we going to start? This is going to be pretty rough. You know, but I also think that it should be good enough that you want to watch it too. Like, if you can't stand watching the things that you produce, all right, well, maybe think about leveling up a little point. You know, at the point, I mean, the other thing to like look at, you know, people always say this to be like, well, Chris, we're going to talk about video length later, but they're like, Chris, I hear that like, people tell me long videos do better, but my long videos don't do better. Like, I can't keep people watching for a long video, you know, like, and it's like, well, I don't know, like, you got to think about what's a topic and what's a trend and what's a way that people want to watch and what's the hook that they keep on watching. What's the value that you deliver? Because if it's an hour video, then you deliver all the value in 2 minutes, and then the next 58 minutes are just bumbling around, you know, dancing in the rain or something like that. Yeah, people are going to stop watching. They're going to go find another video to watch because YouTube's very compelling to watch other things, right? The whole time you're watching this video, if you're not watching in full screen, there's other videos on the side that are competing for your attention. They're like, click me, click me. And it's highly prevalent. This is the Curious Princess a few years ago on YouTube Kids. We have a kids channel for her, the Curious Princess channel, and the like average watch time on her videos is really small. Like, average watch time here on a Yellow Productions video, if it's an hour video, could be 20 minutes as the average watch time for a video like this. But for an hour video on her channel, the average watch time can be like 3 or 4 minutes. But what's funny is that her videos can have actually a pretty high click-through rate, like 7-8% click-through rate. Like, when people see the thumbnails, they click on it. Like, the kids see it and they click on it. But kids just have a short attention span. Doesn't matter how great the video is, whether they're watching Blippi or Baby Shark, they're still clicking off after a couple minutes to watch something else. I watch my daughter when she watches kids' videos, and she never watches through the whole thing. Okay, we're gonna go to number 4 and talk about here about thumbnails. You need to make thumbnails that people want to click on. But before we talk about thumbnails and how to make thumbnails people want to click on, I want to go to some of the comments in the chat. Viet says, as a viewer, I find timestamp chapters are so important to keep me engaged. The great thing about making timestamps or chapters is then it's like a foretelling of what to come. To be like, well, if you are bored in this section, to know that the next section is coming soon. And like you can kind of look at that as a viewer and see what's to come and be like, is it just blabbering or is there gonna be some value coming up? That's one of the reasons why I tend to make videos as listicles, and you're watching this live stream so you don't know what my next 12 things are, but you know there's gonna be 16, and you know that I'm on number 4 right now. Kaishiyu at Are You Famous? You know, it's one of the, it feels like often conceded to decide that you're famous, but I will say at VidCon, I did do at least 2 autographs. So does that, at the point that somebody asks for your autograph, does that make you famous? At the point that a 10-year-old asks for your autograph, does that make you famous? But I was disturbed twice eating my lunch for people to either take selfies or take autographs. And when I said, okay, hold on, let's take a picture, let me move my fries away. And the mom of the 10-year-old son, 10, 12, I don't know, I didn't ask him his age, but seemed about that age. She said that's the price for being famous. So her words, not mine. All right, there we go. Roger said, hi, Chris. Looking at your Vegas hotel reviews playlist to prep for our first adults only, no kids trip. Roger, awesome. Thank you for that. I hope you enjoy it. One thing I will mention here, enjoy the trip, and I hope you find a good hotel. One of the things that'll be a teaching lesson that we'll share a bit in this video is another great way to be successful on YouTube is to make videos that are bingeable, sets of videos that people want to watch, because YouTube likes to see viewers watch one video by a creator and then go on to watch another video by the creator. And at the point that they do that, at the point the YouTube is like, oh, well, apparently people like these videos, because they don't just watch one and then never come back, but they watch one and then they like it so much that they watch a second video from that creator. And so this is also going into making videos with what are, as I'm batching my videos, what are sets of videos that I can make that are related to each other, so that in a user journey, if somebody watches this one, now what are they gonna wonder? And I've made the content that they're interested in over here. Viet, as when's my next trip to Hong Kong? I don't know, I don't have one currently in the plans. Our next trip is to Japan. Art asks if I'm still upset. Art, I'm not upset at you, seriously. Art put in like 20 comments in the last live stream about his assumptions of me. Art, they were all great assumptions. That's why I included them. So, Chris B8 says, you need to have the gift of gab. Chris does. It does help to be able to talk, for sure. But I would say if you look back at my videos in 2008, I don't think I was as fluent or as comfortable on camera as I am now. I think it's a developed skill after you do this for a while. Points Traveler says you need to have a hook. Hooks are helpful at the beginning of a video to like draw people in about like, why do they want to stay? Yes, and then mini hooks as they go through. And you'll see even what I did right here as I started going into these comments. I gave you the hook about, we're going to talk about thumbnails in just a minute, but let me go ahead and go to some of these comments so that if you're like, these comments aren't really that interesting, I'm getting kind of bored, you know that something interesting is going to come up soon. Hikanuki World Tour says, do you happen to know how travel as a subject ranks among other interests in the YouTube universe? Travel is pretty high. Travel's pretty big, but then you break travel down into countries and things like that. Las Vegas is pretty big. So yeah, I would say travel ranks pretty highly. I don't know exactly where it ranks, but it is near the top of things people are interested in. Henry, thank you so much for your support. Henry says, hey Chris, do you think YouTuber will be just as strong in 10 to 15 years? Do you think TikTok and Rumble are giving a YouTube a run for their money? I think TikTok will be, not TikTok. I think YouTube will be just as strong, if not stronger, in 10 to 15 years. If you look at the data of where YouTube is like positioned today, like kids that are, 13 and under, when they say they're watching TV, what they generally mean is they're watching YouTube. Our daughter, the Curious Princess, she doesn't She doesn't watch TV. She doesn't watch things on TV anymore. She does watch things on TV. She watches YouTube Kids on TV, or she watches Disney Plus on TV. But she watches YouTube Kids way more than she watches anything else. And so for young people growing up today, they are more likely to be excited about the next video their favorite YouTuber is going to release than they are about what the next actual TV show on a broadcast network is going to be. TikTok, it's still shorts, and it's not like the interesting thing about TikTok fame, and I'm not trying to rag on TikTokers, but like it's the same thing for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, that like watching a 15 or 30-second dance video doesn't really compel you to have a close connection with that person. Certainly not the same way that watching a 1-hour topic like this does. And so TikTok could certainly go into that space, but they're really far away from where YouTube is right now, and I would say the same thing about Rumble. Okay, Art says, my kids 100% watch YouTube Kids only. Absolutely, right? It is the platform that kids go to consume their content today. Kathy gives data point not just about littler kids, but older kids. My kids watch a lot of YouTube, and they're in their 20s. Yeah, it is the place for people to consume their visual content today. Okay. So let's go ahead on to number 4 now. The fourth thing to be a successful YouTuber is to make thumbnails and titles that people click on, because YouTube is not just a watch platform. YouTube is a click platform. And so that's one of the biggest differences between YouTube and many of the other video social platforms like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Those platforms, you scroll and they push videos in front of you. Where on YouTube, when you open the YouTube app or homepage, chances are you're greeted by a set of thumbnails and titles for you to decide where you want to go on your journey. And so to be a successful YouTuber, you need to come up with titles and thumbnails that earn that click, that cause some curiosity, that cause some intrigue, that look visually interesting, that look like they're going to be a quality experience. So sadly, this does make YouTube a more difficult platform to produce content for, particularly in long form, where you need a good title and you need a good thumbnail, than TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, where those things don't matter because the video is what's shoved in front of people, not this other artifact first that they then have to decide where they want to go. So sadly, videos that aren't packaged well just won't do well. It's also worthwhile to think about YouTube doesn't push videos for creators. YouTube pulls videos for viewers. Every time you log into the YouTube homepage, every time you load another video, YouTube creates that set of things for you based on what it thinks you will want to watch. But there's 2 primary ways that people consume videos on YouTube or find videos. The first one is search. They type something into the search box. YouTube is the world's 2nd largest search engine. Google is the first. YouTube is the second. And the second way is recommended. And so things are recommended on YouTube either just as the tiles on your home screen, the things on the side of a video, the thing to watch next after you watch one video. Those are all the recommendations or suggestions. And most views on YouTube, the majority of views on YouTube, come from recommended and suggested. Those things that you click on when the homepage rolls up, those things on the side. But search, it's pretty important. For me, I do tend to target search with my videos. And I'm like, because if I make a Singapore travel guide, I want people to search for it. And I usually find that my videos, at the point that they start to do well in search, they also start to do well in these other categories. But, you know, there's like creators like Ryan Trahan. Ryan Trahan does travel-related content, different than mine. Mine is definitely much more an educational slant. Ryan is definitely more of the entertainment slant of travel. If you haven't watched Ryan Trahan, his famous series is the Penny series, where he like starts traveling with a penny and tries to trade his penny up for different things to eventually get a room. He is currently doing a series where he is visiting all 50 states in the USA in 50 days, a different day with a daily upload. And Ryan, before he went on this trip with his team, created all 50 thumbnails for all 50 of the videos that he was going to film. He hadn't filmed them yet. Before he left home, created all 50 thumbnails, created all 50 titles, and then makes the videos as he goes. But this is where the most successful YouTubers out there will often say they create, before they shoot the video, they think about, is this a video that I can create a compelling thumbnail and title for? Because if I can't, it's not worthwhile making the video because people aren't gonna watch it. I don't quite do that. I don't do it as much. I certainly think about before I go, like, what could that thumbnail look like? And like, where might I stand to take that picture? But I will say at this juncture, there are some things like this thumbnail right here. This was the thumbnail on my Waikiki at night walking tour. And so I'm like, well, what would cause you, if you saw that, to like click into it? You know, and so there's kind of like Waikiki's in Hawaii at night. People can be curious about like, oh, what does Waikiki at night look like? And so this is like an aerial shot of the main street in Waikiki. And then there's a picture of me. I couldn't actually stand in this place to take this picture. This is a composite picture, one of the street, one of me posing here with the finger up. But what you get through this thumbnail is you see Waikiki, it's visually representative of that, and then you see this person here who you say, okay, well, I know there's going to be a host of this video, likely won't be AI generated, and maybe I've seen that guy before. Maybe I recognize that yellow shirt. I like him, so I'm gonna go ahead and click into it. And the finger also tries to cause a little bit of intrigue to be like, oh, like look, look over here. We're probably gonna walk on that street. Dadabetic says, I clicked that because I see my house in that thumbnail. Hilarious, Dadabetic. Aloha to you. Kathy says, I thought it looked like Hawaii. Very good, Kathy. Art says, I want to become rich as an AI content creator for YouTube. Help me achieve this dream. Unfortunately, I have no significant tips for you on how to be the world's best AI creator. I'm focused on the human touch. Although I will talk about using AI to help you make better videos, but I'm definitely not going to talk about only AI to make videos. Those exist. There are totally people who make travel content entirely AI generated, pulls in pictures, AI generated voices. They get views. They're not good videos. I wouldn't be proud of those videos, but those people are probably proud of those videos because they're like, we make 10,000 of these videos. Each one doesn't have to pull in a lot of money, but if each one pulls in $1 a month of views, then there we go. We're doing pretty good. Okay, so some just tips that I have for thumbnails is we already talked about this one about creating an emotion or creating some curiosity. Faces close up of people is generally better than far away. Not too much clutter, not more than just 2 or 3 subjects. In this case, in this video, there's really 2 subjects. There's like me, and then there's like the street in Waikiki, and then all this stuff kind of on scenery just kind of like draws you back to the center. Trying to tell the story of the video through the thumbnail. Rewarding the click when people get into it. They're like, oh, like the video that you start with actually looks like the video that I clicked on. That's important. And for titles, simpler is better. Like the less words and the less characters you can use, the better, particularly for recommended and suggested, because YouTube's only going to show about 60 or so of those characters of your title. If what you're targeting is search, the title can be longer because people do see more of the title when they are searching things. Yes, and Kasha Yu says, I wonder what he's pointing at. I wonder, exactly. I wonder what Chris is drinking today. Today, Chris is drinking this Wild Wonder Raspberry Lychee Probiotic, Prebiotic, Sparkling drink. Wow, that's a lot of words all at once. It is a pleasant, fruity, sparkly taste. Contains 6% juice. Store refrigerated. All right. So, now that we're done with thumbnails, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about YouTube recommendations to understand how YouTube recommends content, because that helps you decide what type of content to make, what kind of titles to make, how to like frame your idea to get it into things that people see in front of them that then they can click on. So I mentioned earlier, YouTube doesn't really push things to people except for notifications. Notifications do get pushed out. It's a pull. when you log on to your YouTube homepage, the website says, and if it's me, then the YouTube website says, I need some videos for Chris. And it looks at like, what is things Chris watched in the past? What topics is Chris interested in? Who is Chris subscribed to? Who is Chris liked and commented on recently? And then tries to pull together this set of things. Making this one a little bit bigger, what we can see, and I guess if we just learn a little bit about, you can learn this is me. This was my YouTube homepage the other day, so we can learn a little bit about me and these sort of things. So I mentioned to you, well, we look here, this one right here. This is a Curious Princess upload in the corner. I tend to watch a lot of the Curious Princess videos that I upload from my Yellow Productions account. I tend to do that right away to make sure the video that looks good. So since I click on them right away, when I publish a new video, YouTube will just kind of like give that to me right away to be like, you like these videos. So I'm going to put it right up in the beginning. I like AI and I like comedy. I watch a lot of those things. So I get kind of like this AI slop with John Oliver. I like K-pop videos, so YouTube's gonna go like, oh, you've watched K-pop. I've never watched this group in the past. I don't know who F Girl is, but you know, this is one. I have the vidIQ extension turned on. I pay monthly for vidIQ, and so you can see some extra data down here where it says like, this video is getting 187,000 views per hour, 3 million views. So YouTube's like, a lot of other people like this video, and you'll probably like it too. It's in this topic of things that you like because a lot of people also like it. Here we go. We get this video from Walk With Me Tim. He does hotel reviews. So YouTube knows I like hotel reviews. YouTube also knows I watch a lot of videos about Vegas. And maybe if I watched videos about worst hotels in Vegas because I've watched my video. So there we go. I like Family Guy. So we get a Family Guy thing here. Mr. Beast, he's just popular. So everybody gets Mr. Beast down here. And then the one that's kind of covered up by my head. But you can see this one is Disneyland Shanghai. And it has 6 views. YouTube, within maybe the past year or so, has increase the views for small creators to try to like, because YouTube actually goes like, oh, well, we actually think people like watching views from smaller creators they haven't seen before. So that is something that is a kind of semi-recent change in the algorithm. So that if you say like, well, hey, there's no way for me to get started because, you know, everybody's just gonna watch Mr. Beast. They're not gonna watch me. And you'll see like I get recommended this video that was published 2 days ago that only has 6 views by a small creator because YouTube's absolutely trying to get views to those and thinks people might want to watch them. So it is not too late for you to start. Professor Fear in the chat says, Walk With Me Tim also has some decent hotel reviews. He sure does. I enjoy the Walk With Me Tim videos. Okay. Databetics says BTS, are they all back now? I don't know. Is BTS back again? Okay. So the other thing to look at about how YouTube recommends content is it looks at what device you're watching on. So when this is a poll from my computer, if I pull up the YouTube app from my phone, I'm gonna get a different set of recommendations than on my desktop. If I pull it up on my television, I'm gonna get a different set of recommendations than I get on either of those devices. Sometimes you might see a thumbnail of a video multiple times. Like YouTube might be like, well, you know, I know Chris needs to see this video 5 times before he clicks on it. So if YouTube thinks I'm gonna like it, it'll show it to me a few times before it stops showing it to me. Other thing, if you're a creator and you're looking at things, you might have even observed this yourself. You might sometimes see videos and then you might see it recommended to you the next day and the next day and the thumbnail changes. YouTube also in the last year rolled out this thumbnail testing feature where as a creator you can upload 3 thumbnails per video and then YouTube will rotate through those thumbnails to different viewers, even to the same viewers, and the thumbnail that results in the largest percentage of watch time is the thumbnail that YouTube will then select as the like going forward thumbnail for that video. We tend to make 3 thumbnails for every video that we think will do well, because having just a little higher click-through rate will lead to a lot more views. For videos like a hotel review that's never gonna get a lot of views, like my video review on the Hyatt Place Santa Cruz is never going to get 100,000 views. There's just not that many people interested in that hotel. Most people are going to find that video through search, or they're going to be core viewers of Yellow Productions that are going to get it because YouTube goes, you like this guy's video, so you'll watch this one too. In that case, I'll just make one thumbnail because it's not worth the time and effort to make 3. Nate the lawyer, thank you so much for your generous support. Nate says, I've been watching you for years, your hotel and Vegas videos. I had 50 subs back then. Glad to catch you live. Thank you so much, Nate the lawyer. If I ever need legal advice, I know where to go. I appreciate it. Okay. So let's go on to 6. The 6th thing you need to do to be a successful YouTuber in 2025 is you need to make bingeable content. We talked about this one a little bit before, but I'm going to expand on it now. So it's important to think about what videos through a journey would people like to watch from you after they watch the current one. That is one of the reasons why I make videos in playlists. And we heard earlier in the chat, fellow explorer was working their way through my Vegas hotel review playlist to pick which hotel they want. And I'm like, well, yeah, because if you've watched a video review on the Wynn, then you might be really interested in comparing it to a video review on the Venetian. And so I'll think about like what might you want to watch one after another. Putting them in playlists and putting links to those playlists in the descriptions, in the end cards, are great ways to get people into those. People who like these things to know before you travel series, these are like the one, like this is the funnel. But if you watched this video that was a Singapore travel guide, then you might be interested to know about the best hawker centers in Singapore, or you might be interested in knowing about the best shopping malls in Singapore. So thinking about whatever your niche is or whatever your topic is, could be Nate the lawyer over there, about like if you're talking about how to fight a speeding ticket, those people might also be interested in where to get the best deals on driving school, because maybe they didn't beat their speeding ticket. Now they have to take driving school. So like thinking about what that flow could be the same day, or maybe even another day of something they're interested in from a topic of view later on. So if you are launching a new channel, you should absolutely think about what are a cohesive set of videos that if people would watch one, they would want to watch the next 2, 3, 4, 5 as kind of a series through. The 7th thing you need to do to be successful on YouTube in 2025 is focus on the introduction of the video. We heard Points Traveler earlier say you need to have a hook, but as people click into the video, that first 5, 10, 15, 30 seconds, depending upon how long the video is, has to be good. It's got to be compelling. And so this was the travel guide we did on 36 hours in Tainan, and you'll find in a lot of my vlog type videos that might be like 30 or 60 minutes, like of like a week in a place or a day and a half in a place, we tend to recap that time to be like, hey, here's what you're gonna see in this video. So as people watch it, they're like, oh, this looks like it'll be fun, and then they don't bounce right away. Thinking about like if I was doing a travel guide on Tainan, it's helpful for me to have the first shot someplace that looks like that place, so that when people click into the video, they're rewarded with, oh, this looks like that thing that you talked about, and not to start it in my hotel room or in my car or someplace that doesn't actually look like the place, because then people go, oh, this doesn't look very interesting. So now, when I said, it could be a few seconds to 30 seconds, if you're making a short video, like if you're making a video that's 30 seconds or less, the intro is like the first 3 seconds. But if you're making a 10-minute video, maybe the intro's 30 seconds. If you're making an hour video, maybe the intro's a couple minutes. Like for somebody who clicks on a longer video, they're generally willing to invest a little bit more time in it before they bounce, because they just understand. They're not the person who's looking for 3 minutes and bounce. They're like, okay, is this a worthwhile investment? So Mark, hopefully that answers your question. 3 seconds for a short, 30 seconds for like a 10-minute video, and then like a couple minutes for an hour-long video. But the intros that I used to do, not of these like cool recaps, but the ones where I had like titles and like Yellow Productions present. Okay, we have it on the live stream, but they're on none of the video on demands anymore. Like the ones that are recorded and you can watch, and they're not on the live streams after about 2 days because I edit them out with the YouTube editor. Those are view killers. People don't like those anymore. Now, some people say, like, Chris, I miss those Yellow Productions ones. The core viewers, you all that are here right now into this video, those of you that are here 40 minutes into this video, you'll watch those because you're core viewers. But somebody who's new, they're like, get to it, man. I don't got time. I'm gonna bounce, and they leave before the intro music or graphics are done. Killer Chronicles, thank you so much for your support. Killer Chronicles says, are conventions like VidCon, TravelCon, etc. worth it? Have you made connections going to them? I think so. You know, for VidCon, I live in Orange County, so it's not a huge investment. I just pay the, $150 for the 3-day ticket and $25 to park. I've gotten huge value out of VidCon. TravelCon, a lot smaller conference, but I made some great connections with other YouTubers. It was great to see people that I've only ever connected with virtually, like Mark from Walter's World, Samuel from Samuel and Audrey. Some of the brand connections that I made was great. People I've only ever talked with virtually, was able to meet in person. So I think you get out of these conventions what you put into it. You do have to be willing to kind of like, if you're a bit of an introvert, to like get out of your shell and like make some new friends. That's what I would say. Okay. So now that we know about introductions, let's talk about shorts versus long. This was some data that YouTube presented this year at VidCon. YouTube said YouTube Shorts is now averaging over 200 billion daily views. So if you wonder if people are watching shorts, people are watching shorts. The thing for like looking at shorts is like it's very different to make shorts than it is to make long form video. And so it's taken me a while, I would say, to really understand like how to make shorts that people want to watch, how short it has to be, how quick the intro has to be, how the first frame needs to look. I do a lot of food things, like at restaurants and things like that. And, I'm like, okay, in the first frame of the short, because again, there's no thumbnail, it just gets shoved up in front of people. Or there is like, sometimes if you're watching on desktop on your mobile app, you might get a carousel of them. In that case, you're getting the first frame, or you're getting one that someone could select as part of when they upload it, but it's not like a custom thing. And so in that case, I want the frame of the video that people see as the thumbnail or the first thing they watch just to be really visually compelling. If it's food, a lot of delicious looking food. If I'm in a place like the fair, oh, look at the fair back there. And so positioning what that looks like for the beginning, pretty important. And on shorts, although you can make up to 3-minute long shorts, 3-minute long shorts don't do all that well, I find. I find the best shorts are the ones that are like 15 seconds. I made a video of VidCon of the Furby dance party. There was Furby, that like kitty toy from the 90s or 2000s, making a comeback again. And so there was like Furby and a DJ, and that shorts in like 2 days has gotten like 25,000 views. It also has earned 25 cents. Not a lot of money on shorts, but you can get good views on shorts. And if you're just getting started on YouTube, shorts is a great way to just kind of get your feet wet, make some content that's easy to make, so you don't have to worry about all the thumbnails and titles and that stuff. Good shorts are ones that have no breath, no pause, no chance to scroll away. People don't need any context to get started. You just got to get into it. And shorts as a video, they need to end. They feel like they need to end too soon. Like the end comes and people didn't even think the end was coming, because in that case, then they'll get to the end and they'll get back to the beginning again. And on that Furby dance party video, my average watch time for the 10-second video or 12-second video is 113% because it's so short, and the end comes up so quick that people are like, what? And then they're back to the beginning again, and then they're watching again, trying to figure out what is this Furby and the DJ and the dance floor. Some people repurpose content from their long forms to their shorts, like if they've got long form podcasts. There are tools like Opus Clip that are these like AI tools that can auto clip things. I've personally not found great success in repurposing content using AI tools into shorts. I've found better success in just creating new content while I'm out in the world. That isn't hard, but I'm just someplace and let me just shoot and record a quick thing. Kathy in the chat, she's been a fellow Explorer channel member, supporting the channel for 24 months. She says she's definitely a core viewer. Kathy, you are definitely a core viewer. And Killer Chronicles Well, let's see. Okay, well, here we go. Q-Shoot says, I'm avoiding shorts so I don't lose my attention span. That's a good way to look at it, too. Absolutely. Killer Chronicle says, it's better to start a separate channel for shorts. Shorts lead to absentee subscribers. I think the data's out on that. It depends what the YouTube experts would say. I shouldn't claim to be a YouTube expert, but what I hear from the YouTube experts at VidCon is that YouTube is smart enough to understand your subscribers that like to watch shorts and your subscribers that like to watch longs, and that YouTube today won't push a ton of longs to the short viewers, and that YouTube will push some to be like, well, if I think they might be interested in it, I will push it to them, but to work as a bridge between one from the other. That's what they say. I don't know. Looking at my analytics, and I don't know if I can see this on here. Analytics, content, audience. There is a set. I think it's probably only on desktop. No, it's here. So formats your viewers watch on YouTube, and it says videos, shorts, live. And so for me, because I've been creating a lot of content in both, I just get a lot of people that enjoy like all the content I'm making. Though lives here is I guess the least of the content, probably because they're an hour long, so it takes a little bit more investment to get into these things. But you see, all of those are high. And I think that it's one where like, you have to create shorts that are related to the same kind of content that you're making longs on, so that the types of viewers you would pull in for the shorts are the same kind of viewers that would be interested in watching your longs. If you're making travel content for longs and then you're making dance videos for shorts, those dance videos won't convert, and in that case, they'll be absentee subscribers because they're not people who would ever watch your long form content. Henry, thank you for your support again. Henry says, Chris, do you think that TravelCon and International Living will ever reach the level of VidCon, such as better sound on their keynotes, marketing, etc.? Thoughts? Enjoyed my time at VidCon in 2016. Boy, Henry, yes. The smaller conferences, they're just not as big. And so they probably won't have the same sound and lighting because they just don't get the same level of, I mean, like VidCon is owned by like Viacom or something like that. Like big corporation owns VidCon at this point. I don't know. TravelCon could. There might be that many travel content creators, but I feel like it's just a small niche conference, and that's kind of what you get when you get small niche conferences. Okay. The ninth thing to know to be a successful YouTuber in 2025 is you need to experiment. You need to try new things. The platform's always changing, the algorithm's changing, things that people watch, their habits, they change. And if you're experimenting and you're trying new things, try a few different times. What did I do here? This is a mukbang video. This is a video where I got some snacks and I ate them on camera to see like, oh, do people like me watching snacks on camera? Didn't pan out. I don't feel like a lot of people enjoyed me doing a live stream, eating at the same time. I couldn't talk and I had to eat. Still gonna drink on the live streams. But the walking tours, those started as experiments to be like, I don't know, will anybody like this? I started doing them actually as like 360 videos. When I got 360 cameras, I started doing 360 walking tours. And I was like, these are hard. These are hard to edit, hard to record. So then I started doing them with 2D cameras, started doing it like I got a gimbal, got different sound, got different microphones. Like it took me a lot of experimentation, trial and error to like end up on like what I like and the format and the style. And, even like the format in the video where like you watch a walking tour, for those of you that watch a walking tour. And as I start them, I'll say, like, hey, fellow explorers, today I'm at the Santa Monica Pier. I'm going to show you around some hook about, the best pier on the west coast of the USA. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see what I can see. If you watch a walking tour, you'll know that I'm always going to say that. Like the first 4 sentences, I'm going to turn the camera so you can see what I can see. But like those videos, they always start on me, and within the first 15 seconds, and you always see the camera around, and then you see me start to go. Like it took some experimentation to get into like what is an introduction in that people like and that people stay on, and it kind of retains people that way. And it wasn't the first one. It wasn't overnight. And it's important to evolve and then just be patient and get better 1% over time. Like even on these live streams, like me getting 1% better every time is I wasn't always able to I wasn't always able to draw on my live streams. I wasn't always able to play tic-tac-toe, X's and O's, you know, but now I can. And so now my live streams are just 1% better. And you might be like, Chris, is that going to lead to a lot of views, the fact you can draw X's and O's on your live stream? Well, maybe not, but the fact I can do that, and the fact I can put up pictures, and the fact I've got a good microphone up here, and the fact I've got some good lighting back here, and this and that, and those were all 1% upgrades, all eventually become pretty additive to be like, you know what, content's not too awful anymore. All right. It is 11th thing to be successful on YouTube in 2025 is to think about the audience that you're making videos for. Again, it's not you. You should be wanting to watch it, but thinking about who's out there and who are they, how do they watch, and thinking about creating content for different segments of the audience. So there's the core audience, which is people who come back again and again to a channel. There's the hardcore audience that are people that will watch anything the channel that puts out. And so when Kathy says, Chris, I'm a core viewer, Kathy's probably a hardcore viewer. Kathy's probably a hardcore viewer. So then there's the casual audience, people who will watch a channel every once in a while because they're like, I kind of like them. And then there's the new viewer, somebody who's never been to the channel before. And it's for the most part, it's not, it doesn't make economical sense to make videos for the hardcore viewers, but it does create community. So one of the things I've been doing here for the last month on Yellow Productions, for those who support the channels as channel members, those are people who've clicked the little join button and support the channel every month, I've started making a travel thoughts series where I just record a couple minutes every week to tell you about my inner thoughts, what I'm thinking this week, to share something special with the hardcore audience. But it's not edited, it's not color graded, it's not this, it's not that, because there's only a few people that are going to see it. But I find those people valuable, and I find it valuable to connect with the hardcore audience along with the core audience. But it's also important for the new viewer to get here. So when you watch this video, at the beginning of this video, if you were here at the beginning of the live stream or you're watching the archive and you started at the beginning, then you heard me say, hey, if you're first time here, I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I've been on YouTube since 2008, made 1,800 videos, and that's for the new viewer. So they're like, who's this guy? Other than he's wearing a yellow shirt and he seems to have a lot of pandas behind him. How is he? All right. So the 11th thing to be successful on YouTube, and this goes into knowing the audience, is then creating community and creating engagement. One of the metrics that YouTube looks at to decide whether videos are worthwhile to put in front of other people is not just views and watch time, although those are two influential ones. YouTube also looks at comments and shares on a per video basis. On the Yellow Productions channel last year, over the past 365 days, there were 16,000 comments, and there were 121,000 shares, people who shared the video with their friends or family or on social media. And, creating community, like, I don't know, if I leave a comment, like, I like when people respond, or I like when people heart it, and I can't. On 16,000, it's really hard to respond to every single comment. But I respond to as many as I can, because I read all of them, though I might not be able to respond to all of them. I absolutely do. I look through my comments on the YouTube app multiple times a day, probably too many times a day. But I think it's important. And I like to, sometimes I might ask a question in response. I can't always ask a question in response. And if it's a long, detailed question like, Chris, I'm going to Tokyo for 3 weeks. What do you think is the best itinerary? That's hard. That's probably one where I'll be like, just check out this other video. And I might have answered it over there. But if it's like, Chris, what camera were you using in that video? That's absolutely going to get an answer because it's super easy. And I think it's important to do that as a creator for people to know that there's a real human behind there that actually reads the comments and responds. Grant Yenny, member for 25 months as a fellow explorer, says he's a big fan of the travel thoughts. Thank you for that feedback, Grant. Alex, thank you for your support. Alex says, just a small way of saying thank you. Also, can you shout out Mom and Dad, Steve and Sarah? Big shout out to you, Mom and Dad of Alex, Steve and Sarah. All right. By the way, this is the house that YouTube built. VidCon, all these things you could take pictures in front of, and this was there you go. That's the YouTube house. Okay, the 12th thing to be successful on YouTube in 2025 is once you've got some traction on views and people are actually starting to watch your videos, then it's time to think about leveling it up 1% every time, focusing on quality and equipment, you know? And so this is one where, like, while I would say at the beginning to be like, just press record, whatever you've got. If it's your phone, if it's your old dad camcorder, just press record and record something. But at the point that you've got format and style and people are watching and people are commenting and people are liking, then look at, like, okay, what can I do to make this look a little bit better? What can I do to make this sound a little bit better? What can I do to make this stand out a little bit from all the other stuff that's out there? And so it's kind of funny that, like, you might hear YouTubers, like, giving you advice about how to make YouTube videos who say, like, equipment's not important, you don't need good equipment, but chances are they're probably recording that on a camera that, you know, costs more than many people's cars. So equipment absolutely does matter, but it's not the first thing that you should invest a ton of money in. After your camera, the second thing you should invest money in is a microphone so people can hear you. And then if you're recording, like, at home or things like that, then you should invest in some lighting. Those are, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, camera, microphone, lights. But I will say, sometimes people say, like, oh, well, you know, what's more important, quantity or quality? And I think that's also a mistake that people make, where they go and just say, like, oh, I don't have time to make the quality video. Instead, I'm just going to make a lot of videos. But this is why on this channel, we do a range of things. You know, we put out some stuff that's quantity, but we also put out some stuff that's quality, right? That Singapore travel guide that took 40 hours to make. It's worthwhile, and people watch it because there's not a better one out there, because, like, it took some time on it, and people watch it and they go, like, wow, this took some effort, and it gives me everything that I need to know. And so I think it's important to look at both. I don't just make everything that's super high quality and takes 40 hours because it's a travel channel. I want to cover lots of topics, and so I can cover more topics if I can spend less time on some others. When we do a hotel review, we don't spend a lot of time editing that because it doesn't need it, because there's also just not a lot of those. And so kind of a roughly edited review of the Hyatt place in Santa Cruz is better than no hotel review on the Hyatt Santa Cruz, or it's better than the 15-second TikTok or something that's out there. Now, the other thing I look at, quantity, quality, is sometimes in the case of a trending topic, it is really valuable to be first. So San Diego Comic-Con, when I'm going to do my San Diego Comic-Con exhibit hall walkthrough, I'm going to go there on preview night, I'm going to record the video, I'm going to get home as soon as I can, I'm gonna put that card in, I'm gonna edit it as quick as I can, I'm gonna export it out as quick as I can, I'm gonna upload as quick as I can, and as soon as it's uploaded, I'm gonna push publish, and I'm gonna stay up that night till that's done. Because having it out the first day before anybody else does, you know, my walking tour on San Diego Comic-Con will get 30,000 views before the first person uploads theirs the next day because they went to sleep, or, you know, whatever. And then, like, when YouTube goes, like, well, which video shall I give to other viewers? Shall I give the viewers the one that has 0 views, or shall I give the viewers the one that had 30,000 views in the last 12 hours? I'll give them the one that has 30,000 views in the last 12 hours because that one must be good. So there is certainly value on trending topics in being first. Okay. The 13th thing to be successful on YouTube, at some point, every YouTuber reaches this. They reach saturation of their solo self, and in order to make more content or make higher quality content, they need to assemble a team. This here is the concept art for the Yellow Productions crew shirt. These shirts that you see me give away every live stream, and in this one too, this is the art that OC Girl actually created that we submitted to our artist on Fiverr to get that logo made. So what do you think? Likeness? There we go. Okay. Anyway, thinking about scaling, the first person that makes sense for most people to add to their team is often an editor to help them out in some part-time capacity. Certainly built into the family, I get some help in that, you know, it was my brother-in-law Sean that made these yellow shirts and made the logo design. OC Girl runs the camera. you know, other like help that people might enlist. You might enlist the help of somebody to help you ideate, to help you script, to help you record videos, to help produce and be a project manager, to be a thumbnail designer, to be a channel manager, to be a brand deal coordinator, to be a manager. And by the time you got like 10 people on your team, you might even need somebody to be in HR and legal and finance. Maybe not all the time, but you might need some firm to help you with all those things. And, you know, eventually if you get real big, you need a talent agent. I don't have most of those things, just so you know. Yellow Productions team, pretty small still at this point. I got a lot of pandas, though. A lot of pandas. All right. The 14th tip to be successful on YouTube in 2025 is to use artificial intelligence. And so YouTube has recently come out with their own AI inspiration features in the YouTube Studio backend on desktop. When you go into your, I can draw. I should draw, not try to point from my little box over here. When you go into your content tab over here on the left, then you can click on this inspiration tab up here, and the inspiration tab will then give you some AI generated inspirational ideas of topics and thumbnails that are based upon content that YouTube thinks would do well on your channel based upon what it sees your channel doing. And then YouTube also has this little box right here that you can spark an idea. You can type something in and get other ideas in that thing. So if you type in like Las Vegas travel, then this is what came back from my channel. It said like, oh, you might consider making a Vegas on a budget video, 5 things to do, hidden gems off the strip, Las Vegas nightlife guide from bars to clubs. And this is one where like I'm not gonna make this video because I don't like spending that much time. And I've been to most of the major clubs in Vegas, mostly as like a curiosity thing, to be like, what do these things look like, so that I can advise people on which are the cool ones. But I don't spend a lot of time in them, really. You know, more for me would definitely be the like Vegas on a budget, 5 free things to do. I don't know that I've definitely done like best free things to do on the Las Vegas Strip, but it's certainly a different spin on it to put Vegas on a budget on there. And so this is just, if you've got like a block on what ideas to create, that is a great way to help you get off the idea block. 15th thing to be successful on YouTube in 2025 is to not feed the trolls. Oh boy, for every negative comment on your video, there will be 1,000 people that love the video that didn't say a thing. So you have to develop a thick skin. You can't be on YouTube without a thick skin. Or you can make a channel for kids and then it turns off all comments. And so there you go. That's the other way to deal with trolls. Make your channel for kids that disables all comments. All right. And finally, 16th tip to be successful on YouTube in 2025 is to find some real humans to connect with. This is another shot from TravelCon where I got to hang out with Matt and Nat from Nashville, Tennessee. And the reason why you find some real humans to connect with is that trolls, I find they tend not to exist in the real world for very long. I don't know, maybe like the sunlight damages their skin or something like that. They can only live in their parents' basement. And so if you do meet some real humans in the real world that enjoy your content or watch your content, ask them like what they like, why they liked it. Ask them what they'd like to see you do better, get their feedback. If you find some other YouTubers that are in your same category, and this is what I find valuable for going to some of these events, is asking people like Matt and Nat what they found success in and what they haven't found success in, what ideas are working and what's in their brain as they're coming up with things. Being like, oh, it's an interesting perspective that I wouldn't have thought of. I think it's really important to ideally find some people in your same niche, because what works for me in travel might not work for you if you're in the beauty niche, for example. All right, that is the main 16 things about how to be successful on YouTube in 2025. Now it's time for Q&A.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
Okay. Kathy asked, is there an editing app for the phone? And Jet and Compass said, I think what Guy suggested, CapCut, just so we get Guy's suggestion up there, CapCut. CapCut is absolutely what I use to edit from my phone. Most of the shorts that I upload, I edit on CapCut. And so I can bring up the CapCut app here, and we can bring up a project like this one right here, maybe, for example. So this is in CapCut, and so like in CapCut, you get like a little timeline. You can scroll through it. You can add, does like auto subtitles. Like you got to go in and like correct the subtitles because they're not always good, and you can change the different formats. But I try, when I'm recording my shorts, I try to like edit them the same day. Because that's just a higher percentage that they're actually going to get out and they're actually going to get uploaded. Beauregard Williamson, thank you for the support. He says, hi, Chris. I am an anti-Yellow Productions troll. Thank you so much for the anti-troll power. Henry, thank you for your triple support today. Henry says, Chris, how often do you get invited to travel type conferences or events? Do you plan on going to San Diego Comic-Con? Were you invited to Fanatics Fest in NYC? Maybe once a year I get invited to some conference. I am going to San Diego Comic-Con. I was not invited to San Diego Comic-Con. I've not been invited to Fanatics Fest, but any of you who are organizing conferences, I enjoy speaking on stages. So if you're like, oh, it'd be great to see Chris, or you know an event organizer or something like that, let me know, because Chris has the gift of gab and and can travel. Kyushu says, if you work full-time at your job and do YouTube, how many hours do you actually sleep? 6-7 hours a night. That's what I try to get most nights. I'm definitely not a 4-hour a night watcher. GMR asks, is CapCut free? CapCut is free, but to use the best features of it, you got to pay like $10 a month or something, or $100 a year. I pay for the premium plan. Okay. Tammy Smith says, what kind of name does a new person go with for a new channel? I would say the name you would go with for a new channel is one that evokes that channel's topic. If I were to rename this channel again today, I would probably call it Yellow Productions Travel Guides. That's probably what I would make as the full name of the channel, so that as people would scroll through the thing and get like a search result on it or recommended, and they see that, they're like, oh, this is clearly from a travel channel. But I'm not going to do it now because it's already got verified, the play buttons, and people know as Yellow Productions, so that's worked. When we created our daughter's channel, we called it we call it now The Curious Princess. We tried to think of something that, like, oh, if you saw that, that would evoke to you that was a kid's channel and the emotions we're trying to create of it. Killer Chronicles right here says, should I go to CrimeCon? I have no idea, but I'm going to guess Killer Chronicles does some like true crime story podcast or something like that, or some stories about crime, right? Like Killer Chronicles sounds like that. So that's why I say like some name that evokes that. The other option is just to use your name. That's an easy one that people do too. Okay. Henry says, Chris, enjoy the rest of your evening. Truly enjoy this weekly live stream with such great information, tips. Happy travels. Happy travels to you as well, Henry. Databetic adds the hashtag Yellow Productions Travel Guide. And Killer Chronicle says, I met you at VidCon. Now I remember. Yes, and you actually do the crime story. So great, thank you. It's one of those like doing the live stream and the name and putting the two and two together. It helps for you to give me that number 2. Mr. P says maybe having an agent would be beneficial. The challenge with having an agent is trying to have an agent that you trust and doesn't like screw you out of things. So like if anybody knows an honest agent, I don't need any real estate, but there we go. All right. So it's me, Laura says, do you have an opinion on VPNs? That's like a really broad question. I would say that like I do have a VPN provider that I use. It's not one of the big ones because occasionally I'll be in some countries and some of the websites that I want to go to get like blocked from that country. And so having a VPN is worthwhile to be able to get back to a USA IP address so I can get to the content that I want to watch. I feel like when most people like say, oh, you should get a VPN because of all these great reasons. I feel like those great reasons are often oversold. Michael Yip says, speaking of Hawaii in your thumbnail, it seems like tourism to Hawaii is an all-time low this year. Any Hawaii trips planned? We just went to Hawaii in May to the Big Island, so we're just working on those videos. Actually, this Thursday, we're going to have a video drop for 24 hours in Hawaii's Volcano National Park, where all the lava is and things like that. So we went in May because prices were low. We probably don't have another trip to Hawaii planned, but a lot of U.S. destinations, Hawaii, Vegas, things like that, are on a all-time low. Franco says, I deserve more subs. Thank you, Franco. I appreciate it. Andrew says, my son and I are starting a video game playing channel. What can we do to stand out? You know, this is, Andrew, this is like a really, obviously, like, this is the $1 million question. And Andrew, I don't know you and your son all that much and what's your special sauce, but like I would absolutely think about like, what is that? And what do you think you two can bring that's unique to the space that people be like, oh, like this is something interesting. I'll say for the Curious Princess channel, for the channel that we started for my daughter, she watches a lot of Blippi. Blippi's a adult that goes to a bunch of indoor playgrounds. And I was like, oh, like, wouldn't it be cool to have a channel that's not just an adult going indoor playgrounds, but actually watching a age of a child that themselves go to indoor playgrounds, and then dad follows them around and dad narrates the whole thing. So, you know, I think it's a unique spin on a kid's channel, looking at content that I thought worked well, but like doing something that maybe only we can do, which is Chris has the gift of gab, so I can talk for an hour while my daughter's at Billy B's indoor playground running around. My dad, Electric Rick, says, I learned so much watching your videos. Thank you, Dad. Thank you so much, Dad, for the support. Kathy's going to Hawaii in September. Hopefully you will enjoy it with not too many crowds, Kathy. G says, how do you get brand deals? Do you ask them or do they contact you first? In my case, most of them contact me first. They just send an email to my inbox or they send the Instagram message and then we chat from there. I'd say probably every day I get, 10-ish emails in my inbox of various things. And every day, most of them are garbage. Most of them are like, Chris, do you want to review a new special wig? A new wig. Do you want to get this wig? We'll send you this wig for free. All you have to do is make a video of it. I'm seriously not kidding. I'm not kidding. I've gotten numerous emails about wigs, lots of different things. And so there is some like, what are the brands that I'd actually want to work with? So I say no to 99.9% of them and say yes to like the ones to be like, oh, like that actually looks like a product that I would enjoy, or it's already a product that I would enjoy, or it's going to a place that I already want to go to. Yeah, so there we go. Okay. Lucy says, now that you have Curious Princess in your videos are a family event as my son's same age as a fan now. Awesome, Lucy. Thank you so much. It's great to hear that. Bridgewater says, how do you feel about recording other kids when you go into the kids' playground? I tried recording at some places but felt weird when other kids are in the video other than my kids. Bridgewater family, I try to not get the other kids as much as I can. So if our daughter's in a place where there's lots of other kids, then I probably stop recording in that place. I try to find angles where I just get her or I get the other kids back. It's impossible not to get any other kids, but they're just like passing characters as opposed to like, why are you sitting here recording my kids? If I'm just walking by quickly with the camera, following my daughter, nobody's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, not looking at your kid, look at me, going after my kid. So that's my theory. Yeah, and Killer Chronicles has a lot of the sponsor emails are scams. They sure are. They sure are. And so that's another one to try to be like, which ones of these are legitimate people? Which ones are scams? Which ones aren't scams? Databetic says, has your minimum payout increased tremendously now that you're more established? Should newer channels take any sponsorship within reason? Databetic, I would take sponsorships that you think bring value to your audience. And so, no, I don't think you should take any sponsorship within reason. I think you should wait for sponsorships that bring value to your audience. The first sponsorship I ever did was, didn't have any money. It was Keen shoes. They sent me some water shoes. Like, Chris, we'll send you these shoes if you put them in a video. And I made a video of the Laguna Beach tide pools, and I wore these Keen shoes that I talked about. But like, they legitimately added value to the video because they were good. They were good water shoes to take with you for a tide pool. So, you know, if that's something you eventually want to get into, it probably, you know, you'd be like, well, I'll take these things because this is one that can add value, and that then I can learn how to work with the brand and learn how to create content that makes sense and learn how to talk about something in a way that doesn't seem slimy and sales pitchy. And by the way, if you think it's slimy and sales pitchy, it's probably not a good brand deal. Because if you got to sell it that hard, the value is probably not that good. And this is where Janelle says Chris needs a Hoka sponsorship. Right, if I was talking about Hoka shoes, I don't have to sell them. I talk about Hoka shoes all the time. I've gotten all my friends to wear Hoka shoes. Like, they're the best. I generally feel they're the best. Yeah, that's right. Brandon agrees. Yeah, if anybody knows anybody who works for Hoka, you've got a willing collaborator here. Yes, my Hoka shoes are very comfortable. I wear the Hoka Bondi shoes in size 14. Size 14, really hard to find shoes, so that's why I love the Hoka super thick soles. Poke Breeding says, are you allowed to talk about how much a sponsor usually pays you for videos? Heard some YouTubers making like $5K per ad shout out. Poke Breeding, I personally don't make anywhere near that amount. I would say it depends on like what type of an integration is, whether it's a longer video, whether it's a shorter video, whether it's an integration into a travel guide, whether it's an integration into a live stream, and the brands are all willing to pay different things. I'm not Mr. Beast, so they're not throwing that cash. They're not throwing that kind of cash at me yet. Jet and Compass says Chris needs beverage sponsors. I do. I need more beverages. Ito NT would definitely work. In-N-Out Burger, if you're looking to sponsor any creators. I'm in. Okay. Janelle says, I bought a pair of Hokas because you raved about them. I hope you enjoy them, Janelle. I hope I didn't sell you a bag of goods. Janelle says we can all team up and write into Hoka. You can write into Hoka and be like, yeah, Chris is already influencing you. Outlier says, thank you for showing San Pedro some love the other day. I was so excited to see in your short about the fans. That's awesome, Outlier Gardener. Do a sponsorship like the Wayne's World movie scene. I guess I need to go back and look at that scene to see what it is. All right. Attila says, do you have any plans to revisit Borderfield State Park? I probably should. I've been meaning to, but it's just one of those, it's like so far from my regular haunts. For those who don't know, Borderfield State Park is the southwesternmost point in the continental United States, the border between San Diego and Tijuana. It's where the U.S.-Mexico border fence extends out into the water. Interesting place to go, for sure. Okay, let's do our giveaway.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, fellow explorers, as with every video, live video, I always give away a Yellow Productions Crew shirt to somebody who can answer one of my questions. And my question to you is, in the first picture that I put up here in this corner, I showed two other YouTubers. What are the names? What are the first names of those two other YouTubers that I put up there? If you're the first person to put the names of the first two other YouTubers that I put up on the screen, you will win, and it's not those two, you will win the Yellow Productions Crew video shipped to you anywhere in the world. If you don't get to win one and you want to buy one, you can pick a shirt or a mug up at the Yellow Productions shop. And if you wonder, Chris, when is the next live stream? You can sign up for the Yellow Productions update. It's my email list. I will email you every time I know the topic and the time so that you can join in and you never have to miss another live stream. All right, let's go ahead and see if we have a winner. We do. Spoiler alert.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Congratulations to Daniel, well, let's put this back up again. Congratulations to Daniel Stober. You were the first one to say Samuel and Mark. Here we go. We've got Samuel right here, and we've got Mark right here. And there was a second comment that came in right at the same time. And so I'll be generous, and we'll go to 2 shirts today. Grant Yenny, congratulations, you win as well. Send me an email to chris@yellow-productions.com. And let me know your address, let me know your size, and I will get that shirt headed right out to you. By the way, Walter's World, everybody calls him Walter, but his name is actually Mark. Well, all right, fellow explorers, it was great hanging out with you all today. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video.